What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Neon Trash. I'm Tommy the Hammer, hanging out with Bee Cee, Olivia, Dale, Hayes, and Rocket. Tonight is Bee Cee's pick. What do you got in store for us tonight, man?
Alright, so my last pick was a classic Japanese film, so I figured let's go modern this time around.
Uh-oh.
And I'm going with an independent film from director Toshiaki Toyoda. He did a lot of films in the late 90s and early 2000s that dealt with disaffected youth and kind of social misfits, which Tom will know, Japanese cinema, there was no shortage of those types of films. Even in their horror movies. That was a big theme for Japanese cinema. Yeah. This director, as far as I'm concerned, having seen a few of his movies already, is one of the best for that type of segment of Japanese cinema. So today we will be watching one of his films called Nine Souls. I've seen it before, I love it, and I'm really excited to watch it with everyone else.
So without further ado, motherfuckers, you know this routine. Check out the trailer, beep that shit, we'll be right back.
Beep that shit!
Lemon.
小学校のタイムカプセルや。誰でも何か一つぐらい必要なものあるさ。お医者だよ、お医者って勘弁してくださいよ。友達4人も殺して懲役ぐらいじゃ済まされんやろ。お前無理してついてこないのよかったんだよ。どんな牢屋にも脱走の方法はあるもんです。よいしょ。俺にもね、女が待ってますね。なんか食べるもんないですか。なんで出ねえんだよ。早く出ろっつうのマジで。どこにでもある平凡な顔ですから。でも本当にあるんですかね、そのお金って。絶対にあるから間違いない。手のひらを返すやつ、向かい合うことを避けて生きるやつ。死刑にしてって死刑に。おいおいおい、あんたそれでも人間かよ。9人の脱走犯のうちの1人がここにいます。脱走中でも結婚できますかね。
死刑の時はテレビの前で祈ってあげる。
好きな女の人と一緒になって近所の人から信用されて暮らすのが僕の夢なんです。
バカが来るの待ってたんじゃないの。
息子はね、殺してくれっつったんですよ。これ何が欲しいねん。
いつか来るって私毎日祈ってたよ。ずっと会いたかった。
Alright guys, we just got done watching the movie Nine Souls, and I gotta say, this was simultaneously a funny film and also a depressing film. This is a movie that, I don't know, it like kind of hits you in the feels by the end, and at first I was really drawn in by the comedy of this film. The way it's shot in terms of cinematography is top notch. I mean, every scene is methodical, and you could tell the director really wanted to convey something visually. But I don't necessarily think, at least at first, I liked where it was going, and then I did. That's the strange thing about this movie. Like, about the midpoint, I was like, do I like where this is going? And by the end, I was like, yes, I do. I dug its soundtrack. Oh, it's definitely a moody film, not for everybody, but I liked it a lot.
So this is my second time watching this. I actually watched it for the first time very recently, and it kind of just stuck with me. And I kind of felt like everyone here would appreciate it. But yeah, it starts off in a very funny way, especially in terms of introducing each of these 9 characters. There's actually a 10th character at the beginning. And very quickly you start to realize that there is like this melancholic undertone to the film, even with the comedy happening. And the comedy's really there just to get you to gravitate towards the characters, to get you to like them, and it works really well. Like, we laugh, we get to understand each of their personalities, and then when it's time for shit to get real, it gets real, and it actually is sad. It's I think one of the most impressive elements of this film is that, like, yes, there's 9 main characters, but they each get a moment to shine, and you do learn to care for each of them. It doesn't feel, you know, overly bloated. I could totally understand someone saying like this is a little bit too much, but like it could have been way worse given the amount of characters.
It's tough to not take a deep dive on a film like this because it's I mean, start with the title, 9 Souls.
Right.
So obviously we're going soul deep, you know, so you're going to develop 9 of these characters. So you're going to have to get into all these stories, and it's very humanistic, you know. It's very easy to identify with a lot of these characters, or at least the situations they're in, you know. And I think it's maybe a bit overwhelming at first because 9 is a lot of main characters to have, for sure. But it does allow, like you said, it allows each of them to kind of have their moment to shine, you know. So you just kind of sit back and like try not to be overwhelmed by it, take it as it is. Like, it was a pretty neat film, you know. The whole situation of prisoners escaping jail and being on the run, like, is maybe not the most unique story, but like the way it goes about this is pretty special.
I've seen this movie, quite enjoyed it. As we were joking around, as we were watching it too, I thought to myself, honestly, this guy might have listened to a few Smashing Pumpkin albums and just decided to make a movie out of that whole idea.
Like everyone else said, like there's a lot of main characters, but they show enough about them that makes you feel connected to them, regardless of what they've done. Like, you know, oh, this person has murdered somebody, but like they show a side of them where you actually feel like sad for them, or like you feel connected to them, whether you relate to some of their general emotions, like they weren't welcomed in a lot of places, or just they were sad because they didn't have somebody in their life anymore, something like that. But I think the comedy elements also just added to it and made it less depressing. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a good movie.
I thought this was a wild ride. This is definitely the tale of many men's lives, and sometimes how life doesn't work out for you. Sometimes it works out in mysterious ways. Sometimes it just doesn't at all. And yeah, I really enjoyed how this movie progressed. All the ways, cinematography, all the colors.
Yes.
Like, this whole movie was muted in like gray and blue shades predominantly. Even the reds were muted, except for very few occasions, and it was just
Made for a stark contrast.
yeah. It was. I loved all of that different stuff. Like, it reminded me reminiscent of another independent film like Wrist Cutters. It also kind of did that same drab. Everything was mute.
Yeah, so I think this movie was a real winner with everyone in the room. I know I enjoyed it. It is a bit long in the tooth in certain regards, and if you're not into movies that really kind of delve into the depressing aspect of life, I say give this a chance, though. The comedy at the beginning is very engaging, and it's almost surreal in a way, because there are certain scenes that are just definitely shocking. Namely, the whole sheep sequence.
Oh my god, yeah.
But outside of
That was hilarious.
that, yeah, fucking hilarious, but off-putting. And outside of moments like that, because there is a lot of violence, there's a lot of depressing subject matter, and there's a lot of shocking moments, there's endearing characters. There's a soundtrack that draws you in with its warm, fuzzy guitars and kind of like this lo-fi, alt-rock soundtrack. So there's a lot going on here. I liked it a lot. And I gotta say, 9 Souls for me gets a solid 8.5 going on 9.
I did not reveal my star count to everyone, my original star count. So this is my second time seeing it.
So original.
So my star count is staying the same from the first time I saw it. But in terms of like disaffected youth or just like outcasted people, I think this is one of the better movies out there. And I think the fact that it can get you to care about 9 characters who some, maybe their circumstances are more understandable, and others are actually deplorable characters to some extent. But we learn to care about all of them. And I think the movie has a lot of commentary about like the pressures that each of us face in life, and how society is kind of set up for a lot of people to fail. which we will probably all touch on in a deep dive. But yeah, I think this is one of the better films that does all this, and it really, really resonates with me for a ton of reasons that I probably can't even fully explain. So for me, I mean, I went big the first time, I'm going big again. I'm going 10 out of 10.
Oh, wow. Did like the whole lot, did not like the ending so much. I mean, I kind of get it, but still, fucking damn it. So, but I still did really like it. So, 8, going on an 8.5.
Okay.
Out of 10.
I wasn't disappointed. Liked it. There's a lot of symbolism, not symbology. Anyway, so yeah, I liked it a lot. I also too wasn't big on the ending, like the very, very end. I mean, leading up to the very end was actually pretty decent. But so I would say about an 8.
I'm gonna keep it simple.
Hope so.
Just say my star count.
Short drive.
I'm gonna give it a 9.
I give this dreamy, crazy cosmic ride 9 convict farts in an RV.
When you see the movie, you'll know that reference.
Well, I hope I've been informative, motherfuckers. Until the next time, you know this part. Tune in to Neon Trash.